Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. Now, you see me videoing trees, okay, that are in my yard, my trees, they belong to me. They're in my yard, not somebody else's. No problem there, right? None, absolutely no problem there. I cannot imagine me getting a copyright for them or somebody saying that's their property. Nothing. But it's not my first rodeo with this, because for one, I was a career student, and you learn a lot about things like copyright and plagiarism and so on and so forth, that I found some of it does apply out in the real world. Some people want to call it the real world. What do you think that is? Yeah, like, that show that there used to be. Anyway, some people, why am I saying some people again? But I learned a lot when I was a student. And when you're a career student, some people might think that I'm all about rules and everything. When you're a career student, it's all about rules. Rules, and having your brain tested, and having to watch your P's and Q's, and having to do this, that, and the other. You better be perfect with it, or bam, they're gonna hit you hard. Okay, and I am serious with this. Serious. There are some professors that I had probably would have got me for that one. But if there was something in the references or the whatever you cited, just a period that was a typo or anything in the wrong place, bam, they'd hit you hard for it. Hit you hard, man, for a period. I mean, I can remember one of my students had made a word T. It was just the letter T. And, and I remember seeing it, just, I don't know, but his whole paper, he typed it, and this was not so long ago that, they did have Word and stuff like that would automatically show you what you did wrong. I don't know if they're going to call it today, and the names of everything changed as time goes by. But it was a time when you could do that, and his whole paper was stuff like that. So I let him know, be careful when you do stuff like that. But I had professors that were, I remember one of them was an instructor at a college in Florida. I was there briefly, and she was a lawyer, and she said everything had to be written on white paper, handwritten. Anything handwritten had to be white paper, black ink, or she would give a zero for the assignment. So I did my paper, the big paper. She was English lit or whatever it was. I did mine on OCD. I've told this story before. The rest of my classmates around me said, "No way, you're going to get in trouble. She's going to fail you." I said, "I doubt it." She gave me an A+, very good, and a big check mark across it. Know your audience. Know your audience. Well, if I only applied that these days, yeah, maybe. But see, to me, that's not the way to go. To know your audience, to play them, to make money off of it like some people do. You know how I think about that, because all those grifters and everything. But anyway, I didn't want to get on that. What I wanted to get on was, this is not my first rodeo with it, checking on things that, like plagiarism, copyright, and there was some things. I've been making videos themselves for 12 years. It'll be 12 years in August. And I don't know how many times I'd have something come up that made me question things. And there was at one point, I still have a video, I never made it public, that I was told who to contact besides a lawyer. Okay, and I'm definitely not a lawyer, so anything I say, don't take it as a law. It's just what I was told or heard or read or whatever, and that does not make it true. Not at all, and not my fault. I'm not doing it on purpose. But all the things you need to say. But I was told, and it really shocked me, that to find out certain things, if you have to give people credit for them and so on and so forth, who to contact to find out who. If you're not a student, I wasn't a student then. I'd long been out of being a student, and I wasn't teaching, and things change. Believe me, things change. Since I was a career student for over 20 years, things change. And so I asked around, and people, I heard it from more than one, say call any library, and ask for the reference librarian, and ask them. And I called. I did call just, I think, regular library, and I called a college library. And college right here, I taught at it at one time, and didn't know the woman, did not know either one of them, and they told me, yeah, we're the people you ask about it. That particular thing. I don't even remember what it was. And they said, no, you don't have to. What it was, you don't have to cite on your video, whatever that situation was. So I'm used to this, but now I think, when was it that I started seeing the AI, Google AI, and I know so many people are jumping on that boat. Adam's one of them. Oh, they got to jump on a boat and say, it's just, AI is bad. It's going to take over the world. You're plagiarizing, aren't you? Wasn't there a movie out about something like that? You're getting it from this person, that person, this person, that person. Oh, you're going to make it sure you sound smart by saying it. Adam and I just disagree. Because he kept saying, the AI is coming, the AI is going to be this, that, and the AI. I said, dude, the AI has been around for a long time, years, many years, But it's a big thing now. People want to make sure everybody knows the AI is after us. It's going to learn stuff, and this has been going on for decades now. People saying that it's going to take over humanity, and we're going to be the ones that are very few of us. And grow up. I couldn't believe I just said that. But my opinion is, seriously, it's been around for many years. And have you ever heard of pulling a plug? I'm kind of tongue-in-cheek with this, but at the same time, I am, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and that's a conspiracy theory. Okay, there's no real true evidence at all behind that these things can take over. None. It's like the Y2K all over again. I was one back then saying, oh, come on, please. But oh man, it became such a worldwide, everybody knew they better be up working on their computers and getting all this stuff fixed and make sure the dates change. Had so many people in an uproar, and computers weren't as common back then as they are now. In the year 2000, no, they're not nowhere near. Okay, I had my first computer in 1982, but not many people did. We were thought of, those of us, I've said this before, geek, G-E-E-K, was practically a dirty 4-letter word. And the people back then, they said those nerds who had the computers, they're never going to be popular, these computers, just like they did with the TV. I wasn't there for that, but the computers, oh no, and they would call us geeks, and they would call us nerds, and they would call us whatever they felt like, and we called them non-modems. Back then you had modems, and the rest was history. You know, I was a member of a large group of us geeks, you know. Anyway, but all this, you know, that kind of whatever. But you know, so, but I do wonder. I even asked Google AI. I asked the Google AI. I like that Google AI. So, is it okay if I cite something from you, and you know, use something that you answered, and send it in an email? And it told me what yes or no, and I'm not going to say what, because mine was one thing, yours might be another if you did that. And one of the things I've noticed, I haven't read every time, but rather consistently, is like in my usually in my, unless something happens, but in my description it says, and I could be wrong. Okay, somehow, some way, it usually says something about my opinion could be wrong, my thoughts could be wrong, something along this line. And that's because I can be wrong. Well, the AI says the same. I thought it was hilarious one time when the AI actually told me, hey, I can't do that because I am nothing but a computer program. I mean, I have never had it since then. Never had it before then. Just one time it told me, and I had my headphones on, and it said that it was an AI. It couldn't do that. It was one of those questions, you know, like you ask, could you know, do this and that and the other, and you don't mean you, it's just the way some people express it. I do, you know, I don't mean you when I say you. And they tell me I can't do that because I'm a computer pro, you know, I'm an AI or whatever, however it phrased it. And I thought it was hilarious. But anyway, all that going round and round, stream of consciousness. But I did this just a little while ago again. One of my videos, you know, more than one, they had this copyright strike. So I go in, you know, it was something about music, push the button to do it, and it says there's no problem, there's nothing wrong with your video. And all of them said that. And I've done that before, and I've cleaned them up, you know, just click and take the music out of it, whatever. If there might have been some background noise, no problem. But these said there was nothing. I'm like, I don't like that. I had just, I don't know how many months ago, I wound up making most of my videos just private because I got so fed up with it. I got so fed up with it. There's so many things that they could say, you know, anybody could say is a copyright violation, or anybody could say something about, and it gets just tiring. You know what I'm saying? Just tiring. Really. And so I put up all of, you know, I have more than one channel, and I do that, write those little, it's not little, it's huge series, which are all copyrighted to me. Yeah, to me. Not anybody else, to me, but to me. And they're actually in writing too, so it's to me. Nobody else can use it because it's copyrighted to me. You see? But it says it in the, you know, in the, some of them say it in the video, and some of them say it in the video and the description. But anyway, because I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people have stolen ideas from me, and not just from me. I've known them to steal it from other people. You know, just copycats like crazy. Anyway, but this come around again, and I'm like, I'm so tired of it. I'm so sick. I mean, I was a career student for over 20 years, and it's to the point at now where, you know, some of the questions I started asking it again today. I've done this, nothing new, like I said, nothing new. But today I started asking this thing, you know, is there anything that I can do or say that I might not get in trouble for? So I was being sarcastic with the AI. Okay, I'm being sarcastic with the AI. And I said, if I video my tree, you see my trees like that? My own tree on my own yard and not showing anything of anybody else's property. You know, none of us own that sky and the clouds up there. And you know, well, can I get a copyright again? You know, can I get a copyright against me? You know, but the thing about it is, I left out a word or two. Like I think I left out against, but I know I left out anything like strike or violation or anything like that. And it came back and it said, yes, you immediately have a copyright on you if you video a tree. I went, in your own yard, and I was like, Adam just walked back in the front door at that moment. I'm just sitting there, and I'm looking at that, and I told Adam, I said, come here. I said, you know, that's where the front door is where my office is on to the side. So he said, what? And I told him, and he goes, what? I said, exactly. So I thought I was being sarcastic, but the AI is telling me, and so I read it and to him, and we both did the same thing. I looked back and I said, I left out a word. You know, it was a violation. Because yeah, it's copyrighted to me. Okay, you see that tree? Me videoing this tree. This video is copyrighted to me. The subject copyrighted to me. That's what it said. Okay, I immediately have a copyright on it, making a video. Immediately, as I'm making it. So, now, how legal that would be in a court or whatever, who knows? You know, and that's one of those things. I've become so cynical, so very cynical, and rightfully so. I'm going to say it. If I thought it was wrong, I would, but I'm not. A social and behavioral scientist, rightfully so, after the crap I've just been through, and with doctors lying to me just to make money, which I'm not new to. I'm not new to this planet at all in any way. But when, oh, don't let me go back down that road again. It breaks my heart. I was right when I said the way I said it. The whole thing that with it is I'm heartbroken. Heartbroken. You know, I could say, because I would usually say I was just livid, but I don't get livid. I was just furious. I don't get furious. Too logical for all that. I'm not extremely emotional. You know, I'm not. I'm not histrionic. I've known too many of them. You know, they just go crazy with their emotions and their sob stories and crying everything. And these are people who really, really want attention. I mean, they really want to be always the center of everybody's attention. And but nope. So anyway, Adam was standing there, and I said that. He started laughing. I started laughing because when I read it to him, he was like shocked. We both skipped that word. You see, even hearing it. And it's starting to get dark. Can you see that? Yeah, today's our, in this part, it's a suburb of Dallas. I think our feels like, the temperature was in the 90s, but the feels like was 105, which we've had, this year so far already. And today is June 18th. And, but in Dallas and Fort Worth, I think Fort Worth, their feels like, their real feel, their heat index, whatever you want to call it, is, well, I'm not going to get a copyright strike for using all three of those, and they might be copyrighted to some other place. But anyway, so let's just strike all those and say the heat index was 110 in Fort Worth and 109 in Dallas. And I guess I could say that was WFAA, so I don't get in trouble for not citing them. Actually, that might be one of those things. Not that one in particular, but because it was on video. That maybe I won't say that. So let's just strike it. But yeah, I mean, I could call reference librarian and see if that was okay. Seriously, I never would have thought. I was a career student. Never would I have thought that a reference librarian would be the one to tell you. I mean, it makes sense, the word reference itself. But at the same time, I was a career student. Nobody, I was in and out of the library all the time. And a lot of people were. And I never heard anybody say they asked a reference librarian. Ever. Never, ever. Over 20 years. Different colleges and universities, because some of the time we moved around. So usually when we moved around, I attended colleges, because I wasn't going to be there very long. And so it's easy to get in colleges for some people, you know. Some people it's not, but whatever it is, it is. But man, it's getting dark out here. I'm looking, you can hear me when I move my head to the other side. It is like all of a sudden, but the rain and storms, it's 8:21 right now, 8:21 p.m. They're not supposed to come in until sometime, I think they said, in this part where I am, it wouldn't be until like in the morning, close to the morning, storm. But it looks like it's pushing some stuff in. And we're not on the Gulf, we're north of Dallas. It's over north of Dallas City, big city to itself. And but I know where I grew up down there. I think yesterday, I didn't know it. I don't know anybody anymore there, even one person. But I hadn't heard anything. But there was that tornado that what became not a tornado. I mean, not tornado, but a Hurricane Arthur, was it? Or it was, and then it became not one real quick, or it didn't develop right. I don't know. I only heard a part of it, like right at the end. So, something like that. You know, I'm not young, and I've seen plenty of clouds move in over time, but this makes me think of is the way that they're moving in. Makes me think of like when there's fire and there's a big, a huge fire, and there's this big thing of smoke and all, that when it moves that fast. Maybe I'm wrong, but it is weird. It really is, to the side that you can't see over here. That's not as bad as it was over the other direction. So anyway, I just thought I'd get out here and just blow off some, like I say, I make my videos for vent videos. I'm not making any money off of them. I know that they probably do show some ads, but none of my channels, none of them are monetized. And YouTube, they can do that, even if they're not monetized. I don't know how many years ago it was that they changed it. And I don't have anything, any way somebody can send me money, as far as I know. I used to have a post office box, but that was back when things were community, like 11 years ago. And people, back then, I used to do shopping videos, and people, people would say, hey, can I send you something? And they say, fine, if you knew them, and they send you something to the post office, and you send them something back. And that was it. It was never money. Never. Not from me, not from anybody else that I knew. But then things became brand, and then all of a sudden there was this big old thing of so many people became, these disgusting, despicable grifters, e-beggars, sob stories. They lie. They tell lies. They don't have money for groceries. I'm sure there's somebody out there that didn't have money for groceries. Actually, didn't have money for groceries. But no, that's the first thing they say, and they continue to say it on like every week or so, maybe. Some of them as little as every day. And then you see them go and spend $100 at a restaurant, and then another $150 or so for some amusement, the same day. And then for this, that, and you say a few $100 they spend on junk that they don't need. It's been so stressful. They needed that. They really needed it. Something to de-stress them. Don't get me started. And you wonder why I'm so cynical. And that's not it. The doctors, the crap, I've dealt with this for years and years and years, all my life, having a rare health condition. Finally got a medication they can't operate. It's too risky. I don't name it because people try to use it to make money off to grift on. I'm not kidding. And all these years later, this year, the doctor tells me, hey, here's the medication, let's take it. Like 40 days, but only the 38th pill. Yeah, 39th pill. And my body had such a bad reaction to it. And we kept waiting for it to change for the better, and it didn't. And I had to stop taking it. So no medication for me for my rare health condition that I've had since I was a child. There's so many things. And then just so many people, like the woman at a store. I stood up off of one of those electric shopping carts to get myself some summer squash and a bag to put them in. The bag, it was the bag that I was, needed. She walked up from behind me and said, "Get out," and told me to get out of her way. Ooh, mama. Who did she think she was talking to? I said, "Stand in line and wait your turn." I said, "Who do you think something like this. Who do you think you are? You're going to tell somebody like me in an electric shopping cart to move out of your way?" And she was pushing herself, like pushing to move me. And I almost fell on the cart. So I moved in and I said, do you really think you're that entitled? And then I turned, because she had come up from behind me. At that point, I turned around to look. She was gone. You want to talk to a woman whose dad was 6'7", not 5'7", 6'7", built like a linebacker, and she's one of his biological children. My brother's 6'5", by the way. He's the only male. I have me and my 3 sisters, all female, and always have been, always will be. And we're all tall. I was until I started shrinking, I guess. Taller than your average male. And there's 2 of us. Me and my younger sister. And the next one was real close. Okay. So, and the other one, she was the short one. She was 5'7", and we thought of her as short. So, but you're going to say that. I mean, you're going to have that kind of nerve, first of all, to say it to somebody. And I thought about it later on. I said maybe she thought I was an employee running around one of those those electric carts. And I thought, I don't care. Who does she think she is? To tell even an employee, anybody. I mean, it's not as even them. They're human beings. We're all human beings. We're not on this planet to move out of the way for her, part the seas for her. Oh my God. Disgusting, despicable person. Low. Seriously. That's very low. Low. Only people that are really low do stuff like that. Oh, and man, it is getting so dark. But it is 8:29, but no, it doesn't get dark here until like 9 or so. The longest day of the year is coming up. How many days? Is it the 20th or 21st? The longest daylight hours in a day. I think everybody shortens it to the longest day, of the year. But man, my crepe myrtles, they are blooming. You got the side that you're seeing that's not so, doesn't have so many, I don't think they're flowers, but whatever it is, crepe myrtle. But this one on the other side is beautiful. It has so many. I like to see the red ones. I like the red ones and the purple ones, and I don't have either one of those here. I planted a red one time at an apartment I stayed in. And it's probably still there. I don't know what the apartment is. I don't even remember what it was. But anyway, I'm gonna move my car and I'm gonna my SUV up and I'm gonna wrap this up.